Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be discussing about crypto Bitcoin, but also I'm going to give you a bit of a glimpse about the stock market to show you what I think it could be happening in the next few weeks, because this month is going to be monumentally important because there are going to be so many events which could dictate and could shape the future of the cryptocurrency and the stock market for the next 4 to 6 months. But of course, before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more updates, and also like this video, put a comment down below and tell me what you think. Give me your prediction about what's going to be happening with this crazy crypto market. But let's cut the chase right now. Let's go straight away into Bitcoin. I want to show you something which is very interesting. So first of all, I'm on the weekly chart, guys. Bitcoin is closing this chart tomorrow with an incredible retest of this level over here, this 9 EMA $64,000. It pushed to the upside. It looks like it really doesn't want to give up, and still we don't have a confirmation of a breakdown. So it looks like that we are still into this pennant. So we have a pennant over here, as you can see, and in potentially the next week or two, we're gonna come from the resolution of this pennant over here. Now, this is a bullish pennant. Looks like that if we're gonna be able to break this level over here, guys, the next level where we could be going in potentially on the date of the 27th of May, so end of May, it could go as high as $100,000. Now, I don't believe it we're gonna go to 100K, and again, because I'm a skeptical, because I lived already 3 bear markets and I'm a little bit, burned from that. But I believe that if Bitcoin is gonna go and put this final blow of top, local top, it could be in the region of 90,000, 85,000 to 90,000. I don't believe we're gonna go up to like $100,000 again. Might be completely wrong, but that's what I think is going to be happening. But again, if you're going to be able to break these pennants, then expect some continuation to the upside before seeing a proper movement to the downside, maybe potential, again, correction down to 56,000, 57,000. But again, that's what I could be expecting, a bullish pennant from here on the weekly, and then boom, down, correction down to maybe 60,000, even as down as 44, 58, who knows, around this area, and then a continuation of the bull market, maybe until maybe the later part of 2024. So that's pretty much, on the weekly chart what's going to be happening. But now let's analyze what's going to be happening for this week and the next week. So as I explained before, looks like Bitcoin is into this pennant over here, and now is on his way to retest and retouch this level, this area over here. I'm going to just zooming in a little bit, and it looks like what could be happening right now could be a continuation to the upside, maybe like a local top at roughly $70,000. And what could be happening from here when we're going to touch it, $70,300? Are we going to continue to go to the upside and break this level over here, or we're going to have a rejection? Well, in my opinion, guys, because of the stock market, because of the CPI report coming on, I assume it was Tuesday or Wednesday, I need to have a look more in that, we might see a little bit of a sell-off at this point of resistance, because of course the market doesn't know where we're going, and it could be a potential sell-off down to levels of maybe $66,000, $67,000, maybe to follow this new pattern over here. Maybe we're going to go down to here, 67,000, and then after the CPI, then we're going to decide if we're going to break this pennant over here. Of course, if we're going to break to the downside, then the first target or support I can think of will be in the $57,000, $58,000, even as down as 52,000. But if you're going to break to the upside, then of course in between, let's say 85,000 to 100,000 is definitely on the cards. So I'm going to go more on the 4-hour chart so we can see what's going to be happening from here. You can see very, very well that Bitcoin is like really trying to retest this area over here. We could see like a final push with an overbought RSI, and I was telling to my VIP group I might open in a short position once we're going to get here if I see a nice rejection. But otherwise, of course, I'm not going to open a short position straight away. I will wait to see what happens over there. So next one I want to talk about today, guys, I want to have a look also at the S&P 500 to give us an idea what could be happening next week on the week after. So we have to be very careful here because the S&P 500 usually leads Bitcoin. So we have to see by looking at the chart over here if we're going to see continuation to the downside. So what I want to do now, I'm going to go and bring up a naked chart so we can see better what's happening over here. I'm going to go on the weekly to see very well what happened. I mean, the S&P 500 is still well intact. If you see the whole trend to the upside, I mean, it just went on a straight line for the last 6 months, and at the moment, right, we never printed a bearish candle. But if we're gonna close this candle over here, this weekly candle over here in this position like that, then expect more downside. So it could be a downside, maybe going down to this area here at 5,100, maybe 5,000. And this is quite remarkable, and I'm going to explain to you why. Because if we're going to see this movement to the downside with the S&P 500, just don't assume that Bitcoin is going to go down because the S&P 500 is going down, because in the past, and I'm going to show you something interesting. So I'm going to go down to 2020, so around here. If you actually have a look with the historical data and you see what happened during September, but also October here as well, when Bitcoin and some stocks were actually going down. Sorry, there was I'm trying to find over here. So 26th of October, if you see what happened with the S&P 500, we had that big movement to the downside. What happened in that period here? So 26th of October, So 26th of October, Bitcoin went from 11,000 to 18,000. So it just started to pump like crazy, although the S&P 500 was going down. So what does it mean? It means that, usually the S&P can lead Bitcoin. But sometimes when you see like an overbought, S&P 500, then you could see also the money being transferred from to the bigger company to something smaller, for example, like Bitcoin and crypto, and then you can see the S&P going down and then Bitcoin, of course, going up. But of course, if you're gonna print this candle like that, that could be a sign of a reversal of the of SPX, and I would be a little bit careful about that because, as we already talked before, I mean, there is no real level of support apart from 4,800. Maybe the way we can actually calculate the S&P will be to have a look at our Fibonacci retracement. So I guess the first level, will be at 4,982. So 5,000, that would be our first potential level of support. If this EMA doesn't hold, we can see even better here. The 20 EMA should be right around 5,000. So a pullback to 5,000 wouldn't be off the cards. And of course, we need to see how Bitcoin is going to react to that. And the way we can actually understand will be to have a look at the CPI report for the next couple of days. They're going to come hotter than expected. Of course, we're going to see the S&P going down as well with Bitcoin. So Bitcoin maybe at 57, S&P 500 at 5,000. That would be also quite healthy for the markets. But if you're going to see the CPI cooler than expected, then of course that is going to be all invalidated. But looking at right now on the weekly chart, I can see this engulfing candle over here covering the blue candle, which in general, when that happened, look at this, happened once, we went down, happened also here, we went down, here we went down. So I will be very, very careful that we could see a potential top coming in. Again, in my opinion, there is still room to go up, especially if Bitcoin is going to go to, as I said before, 80 to 90,000 before the halving. We could see maybe the S&P pushing to 5,600, 700, and then a big movement to the downside, big correction. But right now, everything looks great. The other thing I want to see as well is the DXY dollar currency index, which usually leads as well. It can show you if stocks and crypto, they are strong. I mean, the DXY, with all honesty, looks quite strong. We can see that this is the monthly chart, the weekly chart, sorry, is 104. So if we're going to see a, as I said before, hotter CPI, hotter than expected, you could see the US dollar pumping even higher than what it is right now, maybe reaching 107. But if we're going to see, of course, a movement to the CPI cooler than expected, then what we could be seeing, because even here we're printing an engulfing candle, we could see the DXY to go down again, down to this level over here, maybe reaching again 103, 102, and that could be very bullish and positive for stocks and crypto. So right now, an altcoin like Solana has been retesting this diagonal level of resistance, has been rejected over here, is still down over here. So in order for Solana to be bullish, we have to break this diagonal level of resistance. And then again, very similar to Bitcoin, we are into this pennant over here. I can actually zoom in a little bit more. And as you can see, we were calling in our VIP group for a movement up to 183, 184. And look what happened. We went around this area and now started to sell off again. It looks like Solana is into this bear flag. So that could be the reason why it's still going up this way. But if this is going to break, guys, then what I could be expecting will be a movement to the downside with 162, 160 as per our target. But again, it depends all on Bitcoin, on the CPI, what's going to be happening this week. The next one I want to show you today, it's also FET Fetch AI. Again, we call it from here, went up to this level at around 2.7. At the moment, it has to break this level of resistance, because if it doesn't break, then of course we're going to see more push to the downside, going down to 2.4. So that could be 2.4, 2.3 again if Bitcoin breaks down to 57, 58k. To be honest, 2.4 will be a good entry point, but if we're going to break this level, then the next one is going to be at $2. So what am I going to do? I'm going to buy lots of Fetch AI because it looks absolutely fantastic. So that could be my other entry as well. And the last one I want to show you guys today, it's Gala Games. So Gala Games as well looks like it's forming a double bottom. It might be retesting around this area at 1.06, and then we're gonna see if we're gonna be able to break this level over here. Then 0.63 is next. Otherwise, we're gonna have a continuation, maybe retouch again the 0.050, or even a little bit lower than that. So we can actually zoom out a little bit and maybe go as down as 0.048, 0.047. So, but at the moment it looks like still going well. Might be pushing up here, maybe until tomorrow, until Monday, end of Monday, and then we're gonna see and assess what's going on. So overall, guys, looks like a very important week for Bitcoin. We're gonna be able to break the pennants. What is my opinion? What is my expectation if I get to give you a forecast with the CPI? Well, to me, I can see two potential scenarios, and please listen to this because they're gonna really help you. I can see two potential scenarios with Bitcoin which could dictate its future, and the two scenarios are the following. A CPI comes higher than expected, so it's going to become high, it's going to be bad for crypto stocks. I can see Bitcoin breaking that level of support where the pennant is, and we're going to see a sell-off going down to maybe around this area over here, maybe 59,000, 58,000, even as low as 53,000. But after that, because of the halving events, probably potentially post-halving, we're going to see another push to the upside. So it could be something like this, like an ABCD pattern. So one push down to this level and then another push here, which could bring us a target of roughly $80,000-ish. But if CPI is going to come cooler than expected, the Federal Reserve is going to talk about cutting interest rates, the halving event is going to come, I could see potentially pushing higher, probably around $90,000. So impossible to say this is going to happen because we don't know. But and I don't know even the data, the CPI data is going to come cooler or hotter. It's impossible to know. However, that's what I think, and that's what I'm going to play for this upcoming 1 to 2 months. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you have a question, leave a comment down below. Otherwise, I'm going to see you tomorrow for another update about Bitcoin and the crypto market.